little early. Just by 1 minute, though, it could be worse. While I'm waiting for people to join, I am actually going to hop onto my phone on Google Chrome because I want to do a sound check, make sure that I can actually be heard. And then I'm actually going to post a link of the live stream onto my DeviantArt page so that people on there can see it. Meanwhile, if any of you guys are just joining, feel free to leave a comment, say hello, how you doing? Alright, here's the stream. I'll take my headphones off a bit so I can actually...
Alright, here's the stream.
Okay, perfect.
I'll take my headphones off a bit so I can actually...
Alright, perfect. You guys can hear me. I had a feeling you would because I already did the sound test a few weeks ago just to make sure that I would be ready for this moment. But I like to double check and play it safe just in case. Hey, I'm my first watcher. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Now that we got someone here, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you haven't read the description, I'm going to be driving trains on Sherman Hill and Cajon Pass. Just bear with me because I got to do something on my DeviantArt before we start. You might have heard me say this already, but I am... Oh yeah, that's right, I can't do it on my phone. Oh, status update, I can do that, yeah. I'll make this really quick so we can jump to the action as soon as possible, I promise. Man, this is not how I wanted to do it. I forgot when you're on DeviantArt, you can't do a literature post or a journal entry. That's what I was trying to do, but it forced me to do like some status update. So like I couldn't make it with pizzazz, if that makes sense. Switcheroo I've tried already. I want to stream till 2 p.m. You probably already knew that, but in case you didn't see my video, my 775 subscriber Q&A, I did mention that I'd be streaming till 2 p.m. So we'll go for this since it's the longest. And then we'll just do a session on BNSF's Cajon Pass that's about 80 minutes. And hell, who knows, if I go faster, if I break the speed limit, I can get this done sooner. While we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy some 7-Up. I got the tropical flavor. Tonight, you're in charge of a special freight to Laramie. Why are we going backwards? Who thought it would be a good idea to put the brakes off? Hello? Can you let me put the fucking brakes on, please? I mean, we're not going fast, but seriously, the fact that it has us rolling backwards... The feds are taking a special interest in your cargo, but they won't tell us why or what it is. As a precaution, you'll be accompanied by Special Agent Cooper throughout the journey. He's a real chatterbox. I'm sure he is. Seriously, though, why are you letting me roll backwards? Let me put the fucking brakes on, for crying out loud. God damn. I guess I have to do all this crap first. God damn it. Come on. Okay, now can I put the brakes on? Please? No, I still have to fucking do all this crap? God damn it. Who was in charge of this fucking train before I got in here? Seriously, we are not off to a good start. Please let me... Oh shit, the brakes are on. Fuck. Why are we going backwards then? What the hell? I mean, I'm just glad we came to a stop before we approached the switch. That would have been terrible. Okay, so I assume we have to go forward. Set the automatic brakes to release. Okay. Couple these cars to the formation before running your train around. Okay, I think I can do that. I think I have to wait for a few more things, or for at least this message to go away, because I hit R2 to try and accelerate, but it's not letting me. Okay, now we're good. Got ourselves a pair of aces. For those of you that don't know, this model of the SD70 is known as the ACE. AC referring to the traction motors. I forgot what the E stands for, though. I believe the E means efficiency. However, me and a lot of other people just like to call it ACE for short. Alright, we're going. I was a bit worried. I deleted the test I did a few weeks ago, but during that, I actually had to cancel this scenario I was trying to do in. It was in another Union Pacific engine, but instead I was driving the AC 4400 CW. And the reason I had to cancel that is because I did everything I was supposed to, but I still couldn't drive the train. It would not allow me to do so. Now let me have that 7-Up. I was about to drink it, but we were rolling downhill for no reason, so I just got terrified and I wanted to try and focus on fixing that before having my drink. I think all we have is nothing. Yeah, we have nothing but boxcars. What are we coupling these up to? Another engine with hoppers. Okay. Okay, you know what? No, I took the brakes off too soon. Hang on. Hang on. Shit, there was a bit of lag there, but other than that, I think we're good. I always like to use the external camera view, because if I'm not mistaken, we might have to... yep, we got to uncouple some stuff. So I assume we're going to leave this engine here. That's why we're in the cab of 8522. So let's go ahead and... coupler locked. I assume we're good to go now. I'm just going to go ahead and change the reverser. Stop a location, Cheyenne drill track. All right, here we go. We are downhill, but I decided to give a little bit of throttle anyway because we still had our brakes on at that moment. But we can go ahead. Oh, hello, Mr. Conductor. I assume you're a conductor. If this was a steam engine, you'd be the fireman, but obviously diesels do not run on fire. Diesel's barely flammable anyway. I mean, at least compared to gasoline, diesel is not as flammable, therefore more fuel efficient. Railroads did try gasoline power at one point, but they decided diesel was a lot more fuel efficient. I'm gonna hop back onto my phone here, see if anyone's active in chat. I mean, I know I said that there's a guy in right now. I mean, if you want to talk, if you want to leave a message, please feel free to do so. I'm just going to go over the a few rules. I mean, obviously, don't be a jerk. That's the most important rule. But also, don't be nervous. I'm a friendly person. I like to talk to people. And one other don't of my live streams, don't be nervous to chat with other people. I mean, I realize there's only one person in chat right now, and he hasn't said anything, but I'm literally just getting started. As I keep doing more streams, right as I said, I was going to have more people too. Welcome. Welcome. I got to stop right here, and then I assume we're going to run around our train. For the second person that just joined, you missed our beginning. We were required to push some boxcars onto another freight train, and we're going to move this engine elsewhere. I don't know why... oh, now it lets me change the reverser. I was trying to hit the up button earlier, but for some reason it wouldn't let me. Let me just double check, make sure the switches are set for the correct location. I moved back a bit further. Not on purpose, obviously. I meant to try and stop, but I think we're good. This green line indicates where we're going, so I know nothing needs to be changed. Oh, I should take the brakes off. And we're back down to 1. Oh well. Like I said, the more streams I do, the more people will eventually join. When I've got nearly 800 subscribers, so I'm sure I'll attract more people eventually. And even though my YouTube channel is primarily focused on railroads, not every game I stream is going to be railroad related. I'm going to do a few things on Trains A New Era, along with Railroad Simulator 22, and some Railroader, maybe a little bit of Railroader. Wait a minute. No, what the hell? You put me on the wrong track. You said I was going to go around it, you bastard. Alright. Looks like we got to go back and fix the dispatcher's mistake. I'm gonna drink some more 7-Up while we're stopped. Hey, back to 2 people. I don't like the automatic bells, but I'm just glad it's not like the electronic bells. I mean, they sound good, but something about a legit bell made out of metal instead of coming out of a loudspeaker always sounds better to me. I'm sure a lot of you agree with me on that. Shit, the second guy left again. Either he's got bad internet connection or he's doing something while trying to enjoy the stream. Alright. I always like doing this to an external view. I mean, it's not easy when you're moving, but shit, I wasn't expecting a beep. Okay, so we do have... We also got to change that too. Okay. Well, hopefully now everything's in the correct position. Like I said, the dispatcher screwed us up there. I was also trying to say something earlier. I meant to say that even though my YouTube channel focuses primarily on railroads, not every game I stream on here is going to be railroad related. You might see me do some more Train Sim World content. I might also play some trains from Oran or Railroader. But I might also do a few, well, I don't know why I said I might. I am going to do some non-railroad related stuff, like Battlefront. I actually meant to put that in the chat, but I decided, you know what? Let's wait till the end of the stream. I will be doing Battlefront 2, the old school version from 2005. I got the remaster. I tried talking to Aspire, though, the developers that made the remaster. I told them that Han Solo breaks the game. Every time you try to use Han Solo, like if you spawn him in Utapau, Camino, Endor, Tatooine, there's a couple of other maps that you can play as him on. And of course, when you do the hero assault in instant action, you can basically have Han Solo play on all the maps if you want, but every time you choose to play as Han Solo, the game crashes. Yet, for some reason, the AI can handle him perfectly. And you can also play Han Solo multiplayer, but strangely enough, when you do instant action, every time you play Han Solo, the game crashes. I really do not understand why. Something else I want to do, I wasn't exactly considering this at first, but I've seen a few other YouTubers like Real Radman, Angry Welshman Productions, and Michael Mooks doing this. And I figured, you know what? Since they and a lot of other people are recording themselves when they do their gameplay content, I might as well do that as well. Ah, damn it. Sometimes if you just tap the L3 button, the horn doesn't play. But I wanted to try and do that little jingle there. It's a lot easier when you're on a keyboard. But, of course, I already have Train Simulator Classic. That game from Dovetail is really good. Sadly, I had to delete it, though, to save space on my laptop. But I still have all the DLC saved. So whenever I decide to go back into that, I will not lose any of my progress. And when I say DLC, I also mean, like, other things you can buy from, you know, like, what's a developer? I mentioned Angry Welshman Productions. I've seen them use a few of their products. I think it's Digital Traction, because I know they did the Sterling single. I had a lot of fun with that. I think they also did the Great Western's 4300 class. Digital Traction's British, of course, so everything you see there is going to be from that country, but you know, I really like a lot of his stuff. So, like, a lot of stuff I bought, I'm still going to have saved for whenever I decide to get Train Simulator again, even though I deleted the game from my laptop. I'm going to turn the throttle off when we go to 3 miles an hour, and we're going the wrong way. But the reason I want it, yeah, there we go. I didn't want to use the throttle because we're going downhill, but okay, yeah, this is too slow. A 3% gradient. I mean, I didn't think we're going to go that fast anyway, but obviously you don't want to take it for granted. You just want to try and go slow, especially when you have to couple up to another engine and multiple freight cars. This train we're using has 4 engines overall. We put one in the back, there's one in the middle, and then there's a second one. I wonder if they're all ACEs. Fun fact I'm going to share with you, Union Pacific has the largest fleet of SD70s than any other railroad in the United States. And it's not just the ACE model we're using. This also includes the SD70M, and I think also a few SD70M-2s. And sometimes, even though the engine looks like the ACE, they have different classifications. Like, they could also be known as an SD70A or something different. And let's not forget the Tier 4 model of the ACE. Now, funny story. I recorded some narration for Green Frog because I also sent them my own footage. When I was talking about CSX trains, they actually had a few engines called the ES44A or ET44A. I never actually called them that, though, in the videos. I just referred to them as AH. So the reason they have that designation is because the AH means high adhesion, so they have more weight, which does decrease speed, but that weight does help give you more power. Holy fuck! We came to a complete stop, and all of a sudden the engine decided to go from 0 to 3 in like half a second. Okay, set banking comm to on. Where the fuck is that? Okay, there we go. Just apologize for that. Remember that night when you were a magnet for trouble? This is all feeling familiar. You're our most experienced engineer, though, and you've got Agent Cooper to keep you company. This can't be Agent Cooper, though. I'm sure he's just a ghost somewhere. Might as well call his name Casper. Well, they said we're good to go, so let's accelerate. Going the wrong way, though. We are supposed to go forwards, not backwards. With 4 locomotives, though, we should be able to handle this with ease. $85.22 in the lead. 86.12. Still shocks me the way our engine randomly just moved towards the train to couple up. Trains usually don't accelerate that quickly, but we went from 0 to 3 in like literally the blink of an eye. Now we may be on a gradient. Again, it's not that big, but trains usually take a while to accelerate and slow down, and they're not like sports cars. They have a lot more horsepower, but again, that's for power to go pull heavier loads. Each engine has over 4,000 horsepower, so we got a total of 16,000 with our 4 locomotives. Auto racks are always cool to see. I've seen a few on the Lehigh line. That's Norfolk Southern track, several miles away from where I live. I say track because there's a few moments where they have double track, and even though Norfolk Southern has a lot of cargo they move to and from New York City on that line, much of the line is only one track, and you have about 25 trains a day. Sometimes a little less. 8343. BNSF also has a few of their SD70s with these numbers. In fact, I saw one at Fort Madison last year, numbered 8446. If you watch my 30 years of BNSF video, you can see 8446. It was actually bringing up the rear of a empty coal train. Okay, I think we have to stop. Whoa. I forgot the loading screen sometimes if you have a long train. But I am definitely going to set the reverser back because we have to reverse. We are going the wrong way. At least none of these switches are set against us, but still. Why did you have us go down this track? Why did you not have the switch set there? Well, this one's going to have to be changed too. Thankfully, the grade got steeper so we can back up, but that was really screwed up. I mean, you knew we had to go that way. I mean, I guess it really doesn't make much of a difference. I mean, we'd be ending up in the same spot anyway, but this signal is red and the switch is already set for us to go here and there. So it, again, we could still get on the main line from here, but it wants us to go back all the way over there. I was saving this for when we got on the main line, but since we have to spend more time reversing, might as well enjoy this now. I made myself a bag of popcorn. I also got some pretzels. But, you know, sometimes when I'm having a snack, I like to have two different things, you know, like chips and pretzels, or pretzels and M&Ms. That's another combo I really like, but I haven't had that in a long time. We're not having much luck with this scenario. I mean, we had our train rolling backwards. I mean, it did kind of help us because we did have a shorter distance to go, but still, the fact that you had it rolling backwards when it was supposed to be stationary. Now the switches are going against us. We're almost there, though. Almost there. I kind of want to keep the camera right here. Probably going to force it to go back to the center of our locomotive. But since I'm also here, I can also... Nope. Like I said, it's hard to do this while the train's moving, but... So, yeah, fuck it. We'll just do it from here then. Beep. Still don't know why it beeps like that, but all the same, I think it's pretty cool that it does that. I just wanted to test something out. I hit the 100 button, but I wanted to see if it would actually pop up on my flat screen. I don't think I saw it. I'm going to try it again. Yeah, it doesn't pop up on my flat screen for some reason. I don't get that. Oh well. Alright, let's turn that bell off. And we got a yellow light. Here's a really cool thing about playing this on PS5. You have these lights on the controller, and depending on what signal you have, it actually changes to that color. So, I mean, we can't see it now in the top right corner, but I can already tell we got a yellow signal because the lights on my controllers are yellow. That'll be another thing to show off to you guys when I record myself. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be doing that anytime soon, because, I mean, I've got 3 cameras, but I got to do some more research and see what I have to do to record myself. I mean, I'll probably have to plug in my laptop into my PlayStation and plug the camera in or get, like, some kind of special cords, and that's probably going to cost a shit ton of money. I only have $2,000. And I need to save money, too, because, this doesn't really happen often, but my Chevy, when I'm driving, I noticed the oil temperature rising above its normal level. Like, it's usually under half, like close to the half line, but under half. When I go up hills, though, it tends to rise above the halfway point. Like I said, it's nothing serious. I mean, it rarely happens, and it's very brief anyway. Like, it only happens once, and then I can drive like 20 or 30 more miles, and then that's it. But I need to get a new head gasket, and my mechanic said that costs $3,000. I addressed the issue to him in December, and, you know, he did put some sealant into my car so that the gasket could last longer. But all the same, I do not want that problem anymore. I just want my car to keep running, and I want it to be reliable like it's always been. And my Chevrolet served me very well over the last 8 years. I didn't even buy it brand new. It's a 2016 Cruise, which I got in 2018 for under 13 grand. It could have been more expensive, but it already had 44,000 miles on the odometer, because it was a rental car. But the rental company didn't want it anymore, so they gave it to a Fred Beans dealership, and that's how I ended up getting it. Very first car I ever had with front-wheel drive. I had 2 other sedans. Oh, hang on. Police reporting activity in the vicinity of Bori. Keep an eye out for anything strange. Has Cooper said anything to you about it? I mean, if it just popped up and you're just notifying me about it now, how's Cooper supposed to know about it? Where the fuck did our fireman go? What happened to him? Is it because the Cooper guy took over? He's invisible, as I mentioned earlier, yet you'd think he'd be here by now. Oh well, time to enjoy some more popcorn as I admire the scenery from my favorite external view of the locomotive. I don't know how fast we're going to be at notch 5, but I just want to try and get closer to the speed limit. I'm not going to speed, but if I can get at least towards 35 or 40, that's all I care about. I assume it's 35 anyway. Well, I guess 40 now since it went towards 45 there, but you look at the speedometer. Each speed is 15 numbers apart. I'm going to assume the mark between 30 and 45 is either 37 or 38. But yeah, we got to get to 40 now. This reminds me, I still have a lot of Train Sim World 4 videos to upload. I recorded a lot of videos back in 2024, and yet I only uploaded like 4 episodes. The main reason I did that was because I was worried that I was going to have one of my videos deleted before I had a chance to upload it, but luckily I saved it on the flash drive and I was able to upload that. That was episode 3. I was on a Metrolink train on the Antelope Valley line. In August of 2024, I actually did get to see a part of the Antelope Valley line in person when visiting my brother in Los Angeles. I was not exactly near Mission Tower, but I was close to it. I went to this bridge that went over the LA River, and I was set up closer to the Union Pacific Freight line that was on one side of the LA River. But I still had a good view of a Metrolink train going to LA Union Station. That came off the Antelope Valley line. Then, because I didn't see a freight like I wanted to, I drove away from the LA River. Let me double check on Google Maps here. I should remember the exact location, but I don't exactly remember what part of the city I was in. Griffith Park was also a lot of fun to experience, mind you. Not just with Travel Town, the trade museum, but also the observatory. That was one of the main things I wanted to see when visiting my brother 2 years ago. And I really had a lot of fun. Okay, so I found the LA River. The reason I remember this so well is because I saw Mission Tower and I followed the line east that I wanted to go to. And there was like some special building. It was of Asian heritage. I don't remember if it was Chinese or Japanese, but I'm sure Ming Ya Buddhist Association. Yeah, so there were 3 tracks. There was a parked intermodal, but I got to see a light engine move with a couple of UP engines. Then after that, I decided to go back towards the river, away from Mission Tower. I was not on the Cesar Chavez Bridge. I was a bit south. I was closer to Redondo Junction. I think I was on 6th Street. Yeah, I was on the 6th Street Viaduct. I remember too because there was a yard for Subways, and Union Pacific also had a yard where I sadly saw an SD70M covered in graffiti. That was the 4th Street yard. But like I said, I wasn't far from Redondo Junction. That's where Amtrak has this turntable and they maintain a lot of their locomotives. It seems, based off of this view I'm seeing on Google Maps, that 3751's still there. I know they've been keeping 3751 there for a long time. I think that's pretty cool. I've always liked that. I really did. Grade's still steep. We got a 1% gradient and an SD40-2 waiting for us with 1 hopper and 3 boxcars. Now, I know there's also a few train videos that have a lot of music, but honestly, I'd rather just listen to the sounds of the engines. I mean, I might do a few music videos here and there. I actually have done a few music videos. I almost forgot. Also from 2024, I did a couple of trains, music videos showing off steam engines with music to celebrate Memorial Day and the 4th of July. And these songs I used were from Girls in a Panzer, great anime. And this is coming from a guy that usually doesn't care about anime. I mean, personally, there's a few I like, but the majority of them seems to be focused on porn. You know, I get that some people like sex here and there. I mean, it can be kind of enjoyable, but for me, it gets boring after a while. Like, try doing something more original. That's why I like Girls in Panzer, because yeah, you might have a lot of female characters, and many of them might have ginormous breasts, but it doesn't focus on sex. You know, it's more original than that. Astro Boy is another good anime I really like. That's a 60s classic. Astro Boy did have a few remakes here and there. In fact, I've been meaning to try out the 2009 film. When I first heard about it in that year, I didn't exactly care for it. But after watching some of the original 1963 episodes, I thought, why not give it a try? Also, one of my friends, Michael, showed me a cool version of Astro Boy from 2005, if I'm not mistaken. I also know Candy Milo is one of the actresses voicing characters. Candy Milo's a lady, but she has done the voice of Nick from Jimmy Neutron. And that's a popular thing that many studios do with cartoons. Like, Jimmy Neutron also had a woman by the name of Debbie Derryberry voicing Jimmy. And then Nickelodeon also had Tara Strong voicing Timmy Turner in Fairly Odd Parents. Bart Simpson was also voiced by a lady, Nancy Cartwright. One of the main reasons they do that is because women sometimes have a tendency to get that right pitch for a 10-year-old boy or like some child under 13. And I'd rather just do that. Because, I mean, sometimes you do have a few cartoons where you have a young boy voicing a young boy, like the Phantom Tollbooth from 1970. That's a really good one. But they generally try to get older people to do the voice because more experience. You know, you don't have to tell them how to do this or how to do that. They just do it without any issues. I gotta stop talking though. I got a piece of popcorn stuck in my teeth. Gotta answer a text. We're getting reports of a wildfire near Granite. I'm going to hold you at the next signal until the authorities can confirm all is safe to proceed. I think he meant to say all is safe to proceed. But, whatever. It is what it is. I see the smoke from the fire. Unless that's a steam excursion with 844 or 4014. I'm really looking forward to seeing 4014. My initial plan was just to go see it in Philadelphia on the 4th of July, but I also heard it's going to visit the Reading and Northern. It should be arriving on that railroad in June, but I'm going to see it on July 1st. Because 2102 is also running an excursion for the Reading and Northern. 2102, if you don't know, is a T1 class 484, kind of like 844, but it's a slightly newer engine. Alco built 844 in 1944, but the Reading Railroad built 2102 in its own Reading shop in 1945. And one interesting fact to remember is that 2102, along with many other... Do not stop! The feds believe the fire could be a distraction to stop the train. Good to know, thank you. So back to what I was saying about 2102. It, along with a few... Oh, he's got more stuff for us. The police have picked up a member of the gang, but believe there could be more out there. They could be desperate at this point and try to block the tracks. This is not what I had in my Train Sim World 6 bingo card. Were you guys expecting a gang to try and stop us? I mean, that would explain why the FBI agent... Now we got 3 people. That's a new record. Hell yeah. And I'm sure that record will that keep going higher and higher as we get more and more people. Oh, we're going over the speed limit? Damn. Oh, the switch. That's why. Got to decrease throttle. I mean, we're not too bad. We're 10 miles over the limit, but I think we'll just go a bit slower just to be safe. Granted, we don't want to slow down by too much because of that gang mentioned earlier. However, we do decide to get down to 30, the track speed limit. It'll still be fast enough to hurt anyone that tries to get on board. And now the 2-track line is increased to 3. This isn't exact, but this kind of reminds me of a route I'm building in Trains Railroad Simulator 22. Now, even though I said I'm going to be doing Star Wars Battlefront for my next live stream, I'm looking forward to hopping onto my laptop and showing you what I'm doing. The route is going to be called Canella. It's a fictional place, which I'm going to have like based off a few spots in Ohio, like Lima. Agent Cooper's team has eyes on the route. I'm going to work with them to route you around any obstructions the gang may throw at you. Ah. But where's Cooper himself? Oh, speed limit went up to 70. Going back to notch 8. Or sometimes they call it running 8. I heard that in a few videos. One from Pentrex actually showed 3751 going over Cajon Pass, and a Dash 9 was between the 3751 and a train of boxcars with coaches for the excursion. But anyways, you actually hear the radio chatter between the engineer of 3751 and the Dash 9 helping the engine, and the steam engineer says, "Eric, buddy, let's run 5. 10-4, running 5. And then after a few seconds, when he has the throttle in 5, he says, "Alrighty, run 8. 10-4, running 8. Sound stopped for a bit. Nothing to worry about though. It does that from time to time. It's kind of like earlier when we switched the camera view from the rear of the train to get back to our engine. When we went back to internal view. Uh-oh. Did we hit this guy, or was he already parked here? What could possibly be so important that 2 trucks want to try and block the line? I thought there was a guy standing there, but it's just a little sign. If it's the 40s or 50s, understandable, you know, because you had a lot of criminal members in the mafia trying to do stuff. And I guess gangsters or gang members still exist. But I thought in a rural area like this, it would have just, like, died out. Alright, let me get some more 7-Up here. We hit 40. I don't expect the train to go any faster than that, though. I mean, if we can, great. But I think the only way our speed will increase is if we get a gradient that's not as steep. Like if it drops down from 1.5% to say 0.9, then that's when our speed will increase. Well, like I said, 16,000 horsepower, that's a lot. If we can't reach Laramie, then I don't know who will. I had an odd choice for my lunch an hour ago. It was 10:30 and I decided to have an ice cream cone. Usually not ideal, but, you know, it was a Kit Kat cone and I figured, you know what? I'm going to be streaming nonstop for 3 hours. Well, 2 hours now that it's close to noon. I did say I would end the stream at 2 p.m. But I figured, you know what? Let me get something that's already frozen. That way I can just eat it the way it's supposed to be. Then make myself a light snack so that I don't have to worry about eating anything until later, because I'm going to go visit my dad around 5 p.m. and I don't know if he's making me a bowl of spaghetti or he's going to get me something from Wawa. We haven't done this in a long time, but there's a place he really likes by my house called Tavern 519. It's a bit far from where he lives, but it's still worth it in his opinion. They do have good food. I've been there with him several times. We'll see what happens. Or at least I will. I mean, I'm not going to be live when I go visit my dad, but if you guys are interested, I'll let you know. Let me double check the calendar. Because I know I have Monday off. I know I'm going to be not doing much on that day. But the week after, I wanted to double check something. Every time I see wind turbines, I always think of the island of Sodor for some reason. And I think it would be amusing if the island of Sodor had wind turbines and Sir Topham Hatt sees them and gets very angry. And he's like, "What the fuck? Those don't belong near my railway. Get rid of them at once." I don't know what it is, but when you hear a voice actor doing the voice of a character like Keith Wickham when he voiced Sir Topham Hatt, I always imagine him saying certain things. Like, I actually would find it amusing if Keith Wickham had Sir Topham Hatt go, "What the fuck?" Another line I can imagine Keith Wickham doing, if he had enough time, if he had more time to voice Sir Topham Hatt. You might have heard me do this a decade ago when I did the Bad Quality Adventures of Thomas and Friends. It goes like this. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll have to go play golf. But over time, I decided to give the Keith Wickham impersonation of Sir Topham Hatt a break and switch to George Carlin, because I've always thought he was the best narrator for the show. But that might change, though. I like what Mark Moorhan's been doing recently, not just with the official Thomas and Friends stuff, but also some fan videos, like the GTA but with talking trains thing. And he also did the same thing for the same guy. I think it's called Hat Loving Gamer. He also did the same thing for Spider-Man, the subway scene from Spider-Man 2. In fact, that video inspired me to get a Lego set, which, funny enough, had Spider-Man trying to stop the subway from the second movie. So yeah, Monday I have off. I usually don't get Fridays off, so I figured, you know what, let's take this opportunity to have some fun. But there will be a few other times where I will have like 3 days a week off from work. Generally I work 4 days a week, sometimes a bit more. But yeah, 3 days from now I'm going to be streaming again on April 27th. That's a Monday. I think I'll go for the same time, because, I mean, I know 3 people isn't a whole lot, but I honestly thought I was going to be stuck with only 2 people. But the fact that I actually have one person that's been with me this whole time, I really, really appreciate your loyalty. Thank you. But instead of Train Sim World 6, Monday's stream is going to be me playing 2005 Star Wars Battlefront 2. The remaster, I should say. Because, I mean, I already have the original version of my PS2, but again, I need to save money. I can't get all those special cords to plug into my laptop and camera and whatnot. I don't even know where to begin with that stuff. Like, I don't know what kind of shit I need to even consider streaming on my PS2. May 6th, which is 2 weeks from now, is a Wednesday. I'm also considering doing a stream on that. I might also do 11 to 2 on that day, but I could also have it go a little longer, like maybe from 10 to 2 or 11 to 3. You guys can let me know in the comments down below what you want. Like, if you want me to stream earlier or later, just feel free to let me know in the comments, man. And I'm also open to any suggestions you guys have. If you want to recommend any games, or if you want to see me open that Lego set I mentioned earlier, I'll be happy to do that for you. For the Lego unboxing stuff, though, I might actually consider doing that on Twitch. But I've said in the past, and you might also see on my Twitch page, if you type in Sean Bodine 96, I should be easy to find there. My profile picture is basically the same picture I have here. It's a screenshot I took of an F40PH in A New Era. And that particular picture, believe it or not, I'm going to be using for a comic I'm working on DeviantArt. Now, if you follow me on DeviantArt, my name on there is Confused Man. I've always wanted to say it like that. Why I chose Confused Man, though? Because I was confused. I thought to myself, why am I joining DeviantArt? But I had a friend 13 years ago. If you know the story already, you've probably seen it from my Q&A video I just did a few weeks ago. But if you don't know the story, this is what happened. So, I was on another website at the time called FanPop. Most of you probably don't know what that is, and that's probably because the owner of that website decided to make it available only for people that already have an account. So you can't make a new account for that website anymore. Anyways, this was around 2012. I met this person by the name of DisneyFan333, and I thought she did a lot a lot of good drawings. But when I heard she was planning on leaving FanPop and joining DeviantArt, I thought, hey, I need to keep in touch with this person. I like what she's doing, and we wrote a few fan fictions together as well. Now, I'm not done with the story. I just had to drink some more 7-Up. But over time, I noticed she was becoming more and more inactive, despite having a few extra accounts. And then eventually, she just had enough and stopped. You know, I haven't seen her on DeviantArt since 2015, and I don't think she plans to come back ever again. But she really is a good person. The conversations I've had with her over time, I still remember very well. We had a lot of good times. I miss her. I think it's time I move the camera around a bit. I know I said that's my favorite camera view when I'm in external view, but you guys probably want to see the train as opposed to having the camera just mounted on the cab. Got a close-up on this logo too. Do you ever do this when you're playing Train Sim World? Do you ever decide, hey, you know what? I want to get a close-up on this logo. And I just noticed, as I did this thing's dirty. You got some dirt here, you got some dirt there. Right now, you got some dirt there. But I've always liked how the logo looks with the wings, but not on the AC 4400 CWs. Let me explain why. Number boards. These things are on the front, like here and there. And because of that, they have to have the wings at a 90-degree angle, but I like it better when it's at a higher angle. Like on here, you see how it's pointing a bit upwards. But they don't do that on the AC 4400 CWs because of the number boards on the front, and I don't like that. So I'm kind of glad they're getting rid of the wings. For those engines anyway. Oh, hey, I just got a text. And funny enough, it's from my friend Michael I just mentioned. You know what? I'm actually going to call him. I had a feeling he was... Funny enough, I had a feeling he was going to contact me during this stream, but I thought he was the one that was going to call me. So just, let me put him on speaker. I'm gonna take my headphones off. Hey, Michael, it's Sean. What's up? Hey, man, I just got your text. Remember when I asked if you wanted to see me on May 2nd? That's what I was referring to with my text.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so do you know what's going on that day?
Yeah, I mean, I guess May seems open.
That's great. That's great. Hey, by the way, I actually just mentioned you earlier. I'm doing a live stream on YouTube. Is there anything you want to say to the audience?
What do you mean?
Well, earlier, like, you remember a couple years ago when you showed me Astro Boy? I mentioned that in the live stream, and I said, hey, there was actually this pretty cool version from 2005 with Candy Milo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just mentioning how I watched the 1963 version of that cartoon, and
Yeah.
I figured, you know what? I think Michael will appreciate it if I give him a shout out.
That would be cool. Yeah, I have, I only, when the PlayStation 3 was out and it had the store, I actually bought, unfortunately, I only bought the first season. I had the first season of the original black and white one.
I gotcha.
I still find it weird that they call Dr. O'Shea Dr. Pelican, but...
don't know why. I like that name. But,
I don't know. Well, because his real name is O'Shea.
Right.
O'Shea is easier to say because it's 2 syllables, where elephant is 3.
Yeah, you got a good point there. Now, Michael, I do have to go because of that, because of the live stream I'm doing. But I just wanted to check in with you, say hello, and I hope you'll join me. I'm actually going to be streaming till 2 p.m. So if you want to hop into my YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. All you got to do is just type in my name. It's Sean Bodine. You'll find my profile picture is a gray diesel with red, white, and blue stripes.
How do you spell your last name?
Bodine. You'll also find my name in the title of the live stream. I'm playing Train Sim World 6.
Okay.
All right.
There we go. This sucks.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that. You take care now, okay?
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Michael's awesome, and I'm really glad that he decided to subscribe to me. We got 25 miles to go, and during the phone call I did notice a couple of more damaged vehicles on the train tracks, which is crazy. Whatever we're transporting for the FBI must be very important, and those bad guys must really want our cargo. But we ain't going down without a fight. There are no gunfights in this game, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if a Union Pacific engineer did have at least some kind of weapon to defend himself, like a semi-automatic 9mm or maybe a submachine gun. Shotguns tend to be very common for that too. And look at that, I just leveled up, driven 100 miles. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Had to blow the horn to celebrate. Ah, dang it. I was trying to do the 20th Century Fox fanfare, but it wouldn't let me blow that last note. If it did allow me to do that, it would have been dun 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 dun. But instead it just went, oh, thank you, Michael. Glad to see you, man. Very glad you could join me. I started playing this game about 2 years ago when Train Sim World 4 was new, and 2024 was also the year I got my PS5, so I figured, you know what? I already have Train Simulator Classic on my PC, so I figured, why not get this for my PS5? I think Michael just left. But hey, you know, I'm still grateful that I got to have him be a part of this stream, you know, because he's a good friend of mine. We both have autism, so I figured, you know what? I want to get my friend in on this. In the bottom right corner, you might be able to see this. I mean, if not, it should tell you underneath the video by the description the amount of people that are watching this. But I just saw it go up from 1 to 2, so maybe Michael came back. If not, then I'm sure I'll see him later. I'm hoping to get a PS5 if I get a job to... Well, I'm sure you can do it, Michael. As a matter of fact, I was talking about a job I got a while ago where I'm pumping gas at Wawa. Depending on how many hours you could get paid about $500 a week, and you know, that's not bad. I mean, when I bought my PS5 2 years ago, that cost me about $500, but you know, I understand if you prefer doing something else. I mean, I didn't exactly want to go back to pumping gas before getting hired by Wawa last month. I actually worked at Quick Check. You might remember, I did tell you about this a few years ago. I was working at Quick Check, but I decided to quit 2 years ago. But before that, I already had worked with Wawa from 2018 to 2022. I was getting tired of people losing their tempers, but now the customers that I'm helping seem to be a bit more relaxed because, you know, the time has passed. I haven't worked at the Flemington Wawa in 6 years, but a lot of the people that go there now seem to be more friendlier, like they've been there before. One of my favorite customers, the reason I say customers is because it's more than one. One of my favorite customers is actually a group of people that work for this landscaping company called William LaRue. And I actually just spoke to one of the guys because he's always in a good mood. He's always smiling, and he and his crew are always very happy, just making jokes, and just, I wish more people would be like them. But I told him about my live stream a couple days ago. I am hoping he's watching this. I think he subscribed to my YouTube channel as well when I saw him on Wednesday. I did show him one video where I was playing guitar. Then he also watched one of my NASCAR 25 videos. I made a goof though in episode 42. I was supposed to upload a video from the Crew Motorfest, another racing game. Not NASCAR related, but they actually did have an update to get NASCAR involved. And I wanted to give that a try. So I have a trilogy of videos I'm going to be having out showing more gameplay from the crew. One video's already been out, but I've been struggling to pay attention to the second video, so that's something I need to focus on. Local police have picked up the team who were blocking the tracks. It looks like they were heading towards Hermosa Tunnel. You're trying to get a job at the Walmart, okay? Because your car could have okay, that makes sense. I know Walmart has the automotive thing, and like Wawa, I know Walmart has changed for the better. I mean, oh, you can walk there because it's so close. That makes sense. Yeah, I get it now. I just had to hop onto my phone to read the rest of the message because on my flat screen, it didn't show the entirety of the message. But I get what you're saying now. I really do. Back to what I was saying though, Walmart has changed for the better as well. Oh, gas is expensive. I'm just glad it's going down. I mean, as long as you don't go back to $4.19 a gallon like we were earlier this month, I'm really hoping we can avoid that. Now, for those of you, for the other viewers that don't know what me and Michael are talking about, we both live in New Jersey. We are in Herndon County, and I don't know what gas is right now because I haven't tried to go into a gas station to refill my car yet. I know I won't in a couple days, but when I was at my job on Wednesday, I saw that we were selling gas to customers for $3.87 a gallon. Funny enough, before that, I thought it was going to be higher because my previous shifts on Sunday, I show up and I see it's $3.88 a gallon for regular. Then it goes up to $3.89 on Monday. Tuesday, it goes back down to $3.88. So I think to myself, well, when I come back on Wednesday, it's definitely going to be higher. But sure enough, I show up on Wednesday and it goes down to $3.87. Yeah, I didn't forget, Michael. You still have that Oldsmobile. You might remember this actually. I sent you a text a week ago because I actually saw your car. I saw you driving from Church Street, and you made a right turn on the 31. I used to also be a delivery driver in a different part of 31. I was with Domino's for a few weeks. I'll tell you, I'm really glad I don't work there anymore. Yeah. Well, grade's not steep now. We went down from 1.5% to 0.8. That would explain why our speed's increasing as we go up to 52. As I said, trains aren't like cars. You have a lot more horsepower, but instead of putting that to speed, the 4,000 or so horsepower that these engines have, they use that for power. All this heavy stuff we got to move. That's what all that horsepower is being used for, and we're going over the speed limit, so... Yes, Michael, this is like a train sim. As a matter of fact, this is called Train Sim World 6, which I actually got for free because I already bought Train Sim World 4. And this was actually one of the routes I bought for Train Sim World 4. But there's been a lot of newer stuff that I've been meaning to try out. And it's not all American, mind you. All the sessions I'm doing for this stream are American. When I finish this one, I'm going to Cajon Pass in California to drive a BNSF train. Union Pacific also runs in Cajon Pass. However, the route itself is owned by BNSF. Union Pacific just had trackage rights. Now what that means is trackage rights. Oh yeah, steam engines are a lot of fun. We've got a few of them on here. They're all British though. Dovetail in the PC version, Train Sim World Classic, they have a bigger collection of steam engines from the UK, Germany, also the United States. I think there's also a few from Africa. But for some reason, they decided to keep the steam engines at a very, very small number on this game. You can only drive 4 different steam engines. I think there's a 5th one that was added a month ago from Germany. But the majority of steam engines in this game are British. Not that I have a problem with that. In fact, I would like to see him do a few more British engines, like the Black 5s and the Panniers. I'll show you what those look like via text. But I also read that you've never been on a train. I've been on a few different ones, mostly tourist trains. I'm sure you know of the Black River and Western. But there's another one much closer to my house that operates this steam engine from China. A coal in the game. If there was a coal shortage in the game, I get that, Michael. That's very smart. I'll tell you what doesn't have a coal shortage, though. This is another train simulator from a different company called Oran. I think Oran's Australian. Why did I end up in the boxcar? I don't think they wanted us in here. Oh yeah, I can... Oh wait, I can't do it from here. I had to hit R3 to go back to the internal view. It's a rarity, but if you have the camera pointed down while you're on the roof of a freight car, you can't actually go in it. It doesn't happen very often, as I said, though, and we need to turn off the throttle. But before I ended up in that boxcar, I was going to tell you about this other steam engine by my house. It operates between Phillipsburg and Regalsville. However, there is a section of track that the railroad owns right by my house in Milford. It just hasn't been used in a long time, but that's why they're trying to restore it. I mean, the section to Regalsville was restored a few years ago, and now they're trying to get up to Milford. It's like you're a bird that gets sucked. Oh, boy. You're a bird that gets sucked in, yeah. Still kind of astonishing, though, like, the fact that I went through the roof like that. But, you know, it could still be worse. All I had to do was hit R3 to get out of external view and pop up into this cab here. Speed limit's gone up, and I'm still going to leave the throttle off and just let gravity do work for us. I might have already said this, I forgot, but the steam engine that's by my house is actually from China. And it was actually constructed in 1989. Oh, yeah. And sometimes, Michael, sometimes it's on purpose. Like, you've got a few glitches. Well, at that point, they're not on purpose. But I remember one example with Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto. They actually had a game, or a few moments in the game, where they did have a few glitches, but they also said to some of the gamers, hey, if you like these glitches, let us know so that we can keep them in the game. And some of those glitches were primarily people just like hitting certain things or parts of the map where the car would go airborne and just fly up in the air, stuff like that. Another glitch I remember was actually from Gran Turismo 6 on this racetrack where they generally hold the 24-hour Le Mans. Goat Simulator is a funny game and it was born to glitch. Huh. Well, I'll tell you the truth, Michael. I wasn't exactly interested in Goat Simulator at first, but I might just change my mind, especially after watching a certain cartoon Sony did a month ago. Now, I'm not the biggest basketball fan, mind you, but I had another friend take me to this movie theater in Pennsylvania, and he said he watched it twice before taking me there, so the fact that he's going to a movie theater to see it a third time, I had a feeling it was going to be good. Plus, he said it reminded him of Zootopia. That movie was GOAT. And the main character, before you ask, actually was a goat. Again, I'm not the biggest basketball... Oh, hang on. I saw Game Grumps about it. It looked funny. I have the game. Oh. Oh, yeah, you're still referring to Goat Simulator. As I was saying, I might change my mind, especially after watching GOAT, the movie that Sony did. Now, it primarily focuses on a goat that wants to play basketball. I'm not the biggest basketball fan, however, I still decided to give it a try. I feel like some things could have been better. Like, the frame rate was inconsistent, for one thing. You had a few characters that moved around at a slower frame rate, like 20 to 15 frames per second. Whereas one character, I think the original team owner, Flo, she was moving around flawlessly at 60 frames per second. Like, why are the other characters moving and missing their frames while you're strutting your stuff without any struggle? I also felt that a few of the character designs could have been better, but, you know, it wasn't that serious. I could have survived. I mean, I did survive if they decided not to change it. And I like a lot of things that Sony does. Not just movies, but also a lot of their electronic products. You already know I'm playing this on my PlayStation. That's actually made by Sony. Also, with a few of my videos, I use a camera and microphone from Sony. And I did try a different brand. I did try getting another camera from Panasonic, which I still have, but there are certain things on there I like better than my RX-10, my Sony camera. But overall, I feel like Sony does better. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a lot of fun. I have to watch more of that, to be honest. Oh, Mutant Mayhem. I need to watch that. The only movies I've seen are the 1990 live-action film and the other live-action film that Nickelodeon did in 2014. You might remember Megan Fox was in that one because Paramount owns Nickelodeon. They also did the Transformers movies with Hasbro. Megan Fox was in the first two, but I think she had a problem with Michael Bay. Ooh, Fujifilm. Now, when you say Fujifilm, Michael, is that, like, does it use actual film or is it digital? I'm gonna have some more popcorn while I wait for his answer. It's gotten a bit cold, but it still tastes well. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, there's Hermosa Tunnel. There's that, obstruction. Mirrorless digital... Oh, okay, I got it. You know what's funny? I had another camera similar to that. Again, it was from Sony. It's called the FDRX 3000. Is everything okay? We've lost sight of you in the tunnel. Trying to do the voiceover work of the, text. Wonders of Sodor, another game that Dovetails made. You have all the characters talking, but for some reason in Train Sim World, they don't do that. I mean, they do if you have the Thomas and Friends stuff, which I have been meaning to get. Yet, when you're doing stuff like this on the realistic railroads, you get the text, but you don't hear the characters talking, so... That's why I was trying to do that voice just now. But back to what I was saying about my FDRX 3000. I assume when you say mirrorless, you mean that it doesn't have a screen, so you can only view what your footage and pictures look like after it gets downloaded onto your camera. My FDRX 3000 was the exact same way. But I still had a lot of fun with that thing, and I still use it from time to time for filming my model trains. So you got your Fujifilm for stop motion. Beautiful. That's kind of also why I got my FDRX 3000. Now granted, I use that for videos more frequently. But let's see what the rest of the message says. It was recommended when researched it had to buy the charger for the battery separate. I see. Okay. Yeah, as I was saying, I did some stop motion with my FDRX 3000 as well, but primarily I use that for videos. And because I didn't have a screen to see what the videos looked like, I was actually impressed with how it turned out, because, like, sure, there were a few things that... Oh, we got another message. The police believe they've caught the remaining gang members. It should be a clear run down to Laramie. If I don't derail. I've been on this route before. I, recorded myself. This hasn't been uploaded yet, but I'm going to get to it eventually. Oh, one more. Pull up to the sidings so Agent Cooper can check on the cargo. I hope he didn't talk your ear off. That's funny. Cooper hasn't said a single thing. We haven't even seen Cooper. We're basically the only guy in the cab of this locomotive. We had another guy with us. Oh, it did have a screen? Okay. Mirrorless like a telescope, how it... Hang on. How it has mirrors to zoom. Okay, I get it now. I see what you're saying. Yeah, my FDRX 3000, I don't think the zoom was the same way as what yours did. Granted, I was still happy with the zoom, but the one thing I didn't like about that was that you had to stop recording just to adjust it. On my RX-10 and my Panasonic camera, I can adjust the zoom while I'm recording. What I like better about the Panasonic Lumix, though, is that you can zoom faster, because it reminds me of some of these old scenes I saw in MGM films, like Where Eagles Dare, Kelly's Heroes. Now, this isn't from MGM, but Bullet also had a few scenes where... Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Michael. I really am. May 2nd, you just got to text me your address. I would say you could send it over here, but we wouldn't want people with hostile intentions seeing that address. I mean, I highly doubt that would happen, but let's play it safe and have that address sent to me by my phone instead. Ooh, this is a great view. Do you guys mind if I pause to take a screenshot? This is one popular thing that a lot of people like doing in the game. And since we mentioned cameras, I figured, why not? Yeah, you know what? This is good. I love doing this in Gran Turismo as well. You have a photo mode where you can take pictures of your cars. Thank you. I try to keep my identity and info hidden first. Yeah, that's always important. And I mentioned earlier how some people on this website have hostile intentions, but usually that's only when, for me anyway, that's only when I post a comment in someone's video just sharing an opinion. It's rare, but I've noticed a few people getting angry when I share an opinion. Like I did this on one of Smuggalana's shorts where she was talking about Ubisoft. I mentioned how I liked The Crew 2. Oh, that's cool, you can screenshot it. Yeah, I think I can still do that, like even if I wasn't playing this game, but some of these games, well, like I mentioned Gran Turismo earlier, you can just pause the game and they have a photo mode. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could hit the share button and take a picture right now, but I don't want to risk having the stream canceled by accident. I'm sure it wouldn't cancel the stream, but I don't want to take that risk. I just want to play it safe. I'm excited to try and do this on my my laptop, though. I can't play this game on my laptop, but there are a few other train-related games that I've been meaning to share with you guys. Before you joined, Michael, I was actually talking about how I was making a fictional part of Ohio called Canella, and it's based off of a few locations I've seen on video, like Lima. As a matter of fact, when I started building my route, I went straight to making this crossing. Like generally when you see crossings, you have railroads going over roads where cars and trains intersect, but there are also crossings where train tracks cross over each other. Like, you don't have to worry about the tracks going over a bridge at a higher elevation or going through a tunnel to go over another track. They'll be at the exact same elevation, and they have certain things they put on the rails so that the trains can cross over the other tracks. Jim Thorpe has a few of those. I think that's a pretty cool area. I'm not going to Jim Thorpe in July, but I'm going to be near there as I watch 2102 and 4014. 4014's not running when I go there, but 2102 will be. 4014 is just going to be on display, but I'm hoping to catch 4014 running to or from Philadelphia. I mean, it's got to move under its own power at some point. I believe they're also having the locomotive go to Scranton because they have another big boy, the 4012, that's been on static display for as long as I can remember. Now, Steamtown did have 4012 for decades, but originally Steamtown was located in New England. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was in Bellows Falls, Vermont. They didn't move to Scranton, Pennsylvania until I think 1986, but they also had to fix up a few buildings and make a few adjustments. So Steamtown in Scranton, Pennsylvania did not open until 1995. Now, I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me when I say this, but I wish I could time travel to 1995 to see 3254 and 2317 running. I have a picture in a book that shows the two engines double heading. Yeah, it is pretty cool, Michael. And just like with a few other things, like you're not limited to just having it in America. You can have it set in Australia, Germany, Russia, any country you want. Or if you'd rather just make a fictional country and just have like a, or expand a country, like what I said earlier when I was making a fictional part of Ohio, you can just have like whatever trains you want running there. What I really want to do, though, I know I've already done this in Tain, which is short for Trains New Era. I've already made my own hump yard, but I haven't tried it in TRS 22. That's Trains Railroad Simulator 22. The physics are probably the same. I mean, I might have to make a few things unrealistic just so that the cars can roll downhill into their sidings without any issues. But I still want to try it. Now, the reason they're called hump yards is because they actually have this hill that cars have to go up. And then when they get to the top of the hump, they're uncoupled from the consist and they roll downhill into these different sidings depending on where they're required to go. But when I was building my hump yard in a New Era, I couldn't actually make the hump. I tried, but every time I tried moving the locomotives, the hump was just too much. Like, it made the cars too heavy, so I had to have the locomotives pushing the cars on flat terrain. And then for the downhill segment, that also had to be made unrealistic. Like, most trains you see traveling downhill, like maybe on a 2% gradient or a 3% gradient if you're lucky. But I actually had to make the yard entrance a 15% gradient. Why do you have two engines connected? It's not a backup, Michael. It is actually because we have a lot of cars, and actually these aren't the only engines I'm using. Before you joined, I had to attach two extra engines. One is all the way at the back. I should start making the brake stronger, though. I mean, I know the speed limit's like 70, but I want to try and go a little slower just to be safe. I know we're not required to stop 9 miles from now, but I'd rather just make sure we don't go too crazy, especially with the grade getting steeper just now. But back to your question, Michael. You asked why I had two engines. That was just because of all of these cars we're pulling. But those aren't the only engines I'm using. We got the two at the front, one at the back, and there's a one further here. I wish I could make this camera go faster. I could show you on the map, but I'd rather do it here because I also like how the camera... I mean, I wish it could be stationary. But it's still cool to see the cars scrolling past. There it is. There's my third engine. Now, this is what they call distributed power, and they don't always have a locomotive in the middle of the consist. I mean, it's more common to have it at the rear. That's right, Michael. Yes, that's right. Sometimes they have it in the middle like this, or more frequently they'll have it at the rear, like you might be able to see a fourth engine there at the rear. But sometimes those engines at the rear get detached because their only objective is to help the train go up hills. And once they get to the top of the hill and they go down the other side, they simply just remove the engine, and that's that. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but I remember hearing in a video from 2020, Delay and Block's made this, if I'm not mistaken. Delay and Block Productions said that the distributed power is added at the middle of the train so that it's more fuel efficient. as opposed to having just all the locomotives at the front. All right, we don't have to go that slow. I'm turning the brakes off. When we get closer to our stop, though, I'm definitely gonna have to put them back on. Seven Up's empty, but I'm not feeling thirsty anymore, and I've got about 90 minutes to go until the stream ends anyway, so I think I'll be fine. Definitely want some more popcorn. Now we're on flat terrain, we're not going downhill anymore, so might as well move the throttle up to 3. You know, I just realized something. I mentioned to a few of the other viewers to leave a comment if they wanted to, but then I remembered not everybody. Oh, hang on. Like a rocket losing its boosters after it breaks the atmosphere of the planet. Yeah, something like that. Only difference, of course, is that trains aren't trying to go to outer space, but you get the idea. Like when it gets to the top of the hill, the helpers can get detached because they're basically not required anymore. We've got one in the middle, though, so that has to stay with us to Laramie. But the fourth engine at the rear, that's been with us all the way to Cheyenne. But sometimes it's not always about moving the tonnage. It's also about slowing it down. Now, when you have more engines attached, that can also give you extra braking power. But when you have a long train, that also helps too, because the air brakes, when they're all connected between the engine and locomotives, that allows all the brakes to activate on the wheels. So even if you're going down a steep gradient, it's easy to slow down. I said this last night when I was on Twitch. I actually wouldn't mind going to Wyoming. Oh wait, it wasn't on Twitch. It was on another YouTube live stream. Michael Marooks was playing American Truck Simulator, and I think he or somebody else mentioned Wyoming, and I said I wanted to go down there. And this one guy's like, "You just created a new sentence." I mean, I can kind of understand why people prefer avoiding Wyoming, but, you know, there's still a lot of people that live in that state for one reason or another. Whether it's railroads, rodeos, farming, many, many reasons. Doesn't have to be glamorous like Los Angeles or a big concrete jungle like New York City. If you prefer quiet, peaceful countrysides like this, then Wyoming is for you. And quite frankly, I gotta say, I think I would enjoy living in an area like this. It would still be like New Jersey, where you have a lot of snow from time to time, but, you know, it's still peaceful, relaxing. Plus, if I did live in a house near the train tracks, I could make a lot of videos for you guys. The only train track near my house has been out of service since 2001. I gotta drive north several miles to Phillipsburg. Or Easton if I'm on the Pennsylvania side of the Delaware River. I've been meaning to go check out New Jersey Transit, though. I know that's a bit further away than Norfolk Southern. Yet, I still like going out to the Raritan Valley line from time to time. One place in particular You prefer quiet over noise? Yeah, Michael, I think you would prefer living here too then. But the one difference, of course, you wouldn't want to be near the train tracks because you have a lot of loud engines. I mean, even if you're like 2 or 3 miles away and you can't see the trains, you can still hear them. But I think if you were a few miles away, it wouldn't be as noisy as what I had in mind. Like, I wouldn't mind living in one of these houses. I'd have a great view of the activity. But if you prefer quiet and you don't want to hear the trains over and over again, your best bet is to get further away, like I'd say at least 3 miles, so that you wouldn't have to worry about all the noise that the engines and horns and bells make. But if you were driving the train, if you're in the cab, oh, that is another reason to go to Wyoming. You'd love it too. But when you're driving the train, even though they're like really close to it, it's very quiet in here. They've improved a lot of different things over the years. In fact, I think these kind of cabs are known as either quiet cabs or isolation cabs. And the reason for that is because you have less noise to deal with as opposed to other engines. Like General Motors at one time made locomotives with different cabs. You could see it on the GP40s or SD40s. But by the time they got to the SD60, they decided to make a cab, not exactly like this, but similar, where the noise would be drowned out. Oh, I didn't realize I had the throttle on at 3 still. Damn. Might as well move it up to 4, though, because we're going a bit too slow. I got a little distracted. I know that's my fault. I'm not going to blame any of you guys for it. But I got a bit distracted, and I realized we were getting towards our stop. So I just wanted to make sure we didn't go too slow. That's where we're required to be, though. That green circle with the star on it. We have a bit of a gradient helping us too, and even though the brakes are off, I'm going to leave the throttle on for the time being. Even though we're going downhill, the grade's not really noticeable. So if we leave it here, I think we'll be fine. We won't have to worry about slowing down. Okay, now I'm going to turn it off. It's difficult to concentrate with a lot of... It can be. It can be. Because I have autism like you do, Michael. And sometimes when I'm recording a video, I have to adjust the volume on my headphones. Because if it's too loud, I can't think about what I'm trying to say. Now, I realize there's also people out there that don't care for commentary during gameplays, but... It's still a common thing, you know. You see a lot of other YouTubers doing it, and personally, I think it's nice to try and explain what you're doing as you're doing it. I'll give my voice a break, though, so I can enjoy some popcorn. If you have any more stuff to say, though, Michael, I'm happy to hear it. And not just Michael, but other people. I think, though... I've noticed there's like more than one viewer, but I think I know why Michael's the only person in chat. There's some people viewing this that don't have a YouTube account, which I can understand. Like, there was another guy I used to work with that said he kept watching my videos despite not having a YouTube account. And, you know, I can understand if you don't like YouTube or you're upset with a few things they do. So the fact that you're still spending your time on this website to watch my content, you have my gratitude, man. I really appreciate that. Or woman. Or non-binary if you're non-binary. Like, anyone's welcome to watch my stuff. I always appreciate it. I think I screwed up, though, depending on where the switch is set. I think we're going to derail. I didn't have the brakes on hard enough. But this could be worse. That's all we need for you tonight. Or that's all we need you for tonight. Glad you're safe. Thank you, dispatcher. I'm a bit surprised, though. Dispatch is usually not spelled with an E. Because, you know, it's dispatch, not dispatch. But now that we got that done, we are moving on to Cajon Pass. I'm really happy I got a gold medal for that, too. Typically, when I'm playing these games, I go over the speed limit on purpose just to save time, you know, but you lose points doing that. Therefore, I don't often get gold medals, but once again, I'm really happy I did that. All right. Now, let's see. I did say I was going to end the stream at 2, so we have about 75 minutes to go. I think we'll do... This is a good song reference. There's been reports of a wildfire. Oh, hang on. I think it forms an intimate connection with the people you like to watch. Also, there are people called lurkers that only watch. But yeah, I've heard about that too. Barry Crape does that a lot. Which is kind of odd. Because if you ever watch her live streams or YouTube videos, she's a chatterbox. Yet, when she's watching stuff, she never replies or posts comments on anything. When I say chatterbox, of course, I don't mean that as an insult. I actually had a lot of fun in one of her Twitch streams yesterday. Welcome to San Bernardino Yards. Today, you'll be taking a set of empty freight cars up to Barstow. We've had reports of a small wildfire in south of Cajon. It shouldn't be a problem, but we'll keep you updated. Thank you, sir. So, before we do anything, we gotta make a couple of things set up here. I think we gotta get that set to forward. Set automatic brake to release, which I believe is this thing. Oh, wait, nope. There we go. And this is the independent brake. So that is the thing that only allows the engines to apply the brakes. This red handle, though, the automatic brake, that puts the brakes on not just the locomotives, but also the rolling stock, the freight cars we're pulling. Oh, wow. I think it's cool, too, that you have this thing labeled with the horn. I definitely want to turn the bell off, though. I think it's this handle right here. Barry Crape also played Train Sim World. In fact, that was the very first YouTube video I ever watched her doing. She was playing with her dad because he's an engineer in real life. And I thought it was cool that he was giving her instructions on what to do. It was also on this route. I could be wrong, but judging by the fact that they were driving a BNSF train like I am now, I want to say Barry Crape's dad works for BNSF. Probably should have left that in forward, but I think we're going to stop at the right place. We'll let gravity help us keep going down here, and I think what's going to happen after we get to that mark there? Are we required to go this way, or are we required to go that way? Just in case, I want to try and get this engine off the switch. Some Discord groups I was in, when a Twitch streamer made it mandatory to lurk. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. Let me see what the rest of your message says while we wait for the objectives to update. It looks like we gotta switch one of the junctions manually, but again, I want to read Michael's message. Some Discord groups I was in when I Twitch streamed. Okay, so you were a Twitch streamer. I'm thinking of doing that, but I want to wait till I get 5 followers. I've got 4, and there's a train going over us. Holy shit. I thought this was a car highway. Oh, wait a minute. Right, we're in Barstow Yard. That makes sense now. Barstow Yard has a bridge so that trains can go over each other. I remember now. Back to what I was saying, though, about Twitch streaming. I have 4 followers, but I don't want to start streaming until I get 5. Why 5? I don't know. I mean, I probably could start doing it with 4, but something about 5 sounds better. And I even put it in my description of my profile page. So you made it mandatory to lurk. You got kicked out of a group because not all streamers I was into. So okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm sorry you got kicked out, man. I mean, I'm sure you didn't do anything wrong, but you know, there's people out there that tend to not be nice. Okay, so now we have to go backwards. Another Twitch streamer I really like is Chelsor the Destroyer. I was on one of her streams yesterday. She's cool, but I think I pissed off one of her moderators because she was watching a video about Marvel Rivals. Personally, I don't care for that game. It's too much like Overwatch, which I decided to stop playing 3 years ago because I was tired of people being stupid and just not being nice overall. Anyways, I see this one character in the game called Scarlet Witch, and I've seen a few other people do this before without getting in trouble, so I decided to type in her chat, Scarlet Bitch. You know, I'm making a joke, making fun of the character, and yet my message got deleted by one of the mods, so I'm sure Chelsea herself didn't give a shit. I mean, she didn't even notice the message because it got deleted quickly, but I guess calling women a bitch this day is like using the N-word to describe a black person. You can't do it. You just can't. So I got to be more careful when I go on there. I have to not use that word ever again. She was a jerk and some of my friends left the Discord and invite. Oh. You're not referring to Chelzo, are you? Some of my friends left the Discord and invites me to theirs, yeah. Was it Chelzo or somebody else? Because, I mean, Chelzo has been friendly to me since I've followed her on Twitch. Like I said, though, it's just one of her mods that was giving me a hard time. I also got a few hearts on the comments I left on her YouTube videos. Like, she was playing My Voice Zoo. And, you know, usually when Chelzor is playing a game or reacting to something, she tends to seem tired or disinterested, but she's got moments where she's in a good mood and she laughs, and I like that. And when she was playing that game, she was laughing a lot just by this one voice line she gave her animal, and I said to her, "Your laughter in this is wonderful," and she left me a heart on there. I also made her laugh when I sent her a message on Twitch, because you know how Twitch streamers, they have this thing called a hype train, where if you send someone enough bits or if you gift them enough subscribers, they'll have this hype train where they encourage you to try and do more of that stuff. That could have gone better. I'm just glad I didn't derail. We gotta wait. But whenever Chelsea the Destroyer gets a hype train, she always likes to play "Come on, ride the train, come on, ride it." And I actually heard that song at work, and I said to her, "Hey, you'll be pleased to know I heard your hype train song," and that made her really happy. The horn on this train could be a bit better, but the one who kicked me out of her Discord for me not lurking on people, she wanted me. Okay. Do you remember her name, though, or was it a long time ago? Because I know sometimes, after a while, I have a hard time remembering certain people. Sorry for burping, by the way. It's from the popcorn I had. I don't think we're going downhill. I mean, I know it says downhill. Yep, there we go. When you change direction, sometimes it takes a while to update on the gradient you're putting up with. I knew it was going to take a while. That's why I started off at notch 6 originally, but That's because the brakes were still on, so I decided to lay off the throttle and try and save some diesel if I could. I think the trains in this game have unlimited fuel. I mean, I've never had a situation where it was a few years ago. Okay. I do recommend you check out Chelzor, though. I mean, she's not going to force you to lurk or do anything stupid. I mean, she's a really good person. Like I said, I mean, there are some times where she seems tired, but, you know, that's usually because she's a very, very busy person. You really should check her out, though. I highly recommend it. Berry Crepe, I mentioned earlier, is also a lot of fun. Like, she's very, very energetic, and she's got a good laugh, you know? Her laughter is just, it always brings me joy. I like her. I gifted her a couple of subs. Something I don't normally do because, you know, I'm trying to save money. But, you know, she deserves it. She really deserves your support. You know what's funny? I said I don't like the sound of this horn, yet I'm still playing it. I should get off the throttle, though, because we're going over the speed limit. I don't think it's going to make a difference, though. Like, if we were to keep going 16... Share the link when you can. Sounds good, Michael. I will. I'll tell you what, I'll share you both links. I'll show you Chelzor first, since she was the first streamer I mentioned. Then I'll also show you Berry Crepe. Whichever one you choose to watch, I know you're going to enjoy their content. I know you're a bit sensitive to noise, so I should give you a heads up. If you do watch Berry Crepe, she can be a bit noisy, but it's well worth your time. Her content's wonderful. Just like me, Berry does both gameplay and reaction videos. However, she has them on separate channels. She keeps the reactions on one channel and the gameplay in a different one. Whereas I don't often do reaction videos. Oh, your car's a loud horn. Okay. Now, what's this you're saying about modern cars? I wouldn't say my car is modern anymore. It's 10 years old, but I know most modern cars have pretty lame horns. Ah, yeah. That's especially true of some of the Japanese cars. I think the best modern vehicles, or the best horns on a modern vehicle, would be a semi-truck, like International or Freightliner. Sometimes when I hear those horns, they remind me of Paxson from Thomas the Tank Engine. Now, clearly he's not a truck, he's a train. But his horn reminds me of some of those trucks that I've been hearing. It's like, bang, bang. Okay, good to know. Now, I mentioned the speed limit earlier. We're doing 22 on a 1.1% gradient. I probably should slow down, but okay, here's the car bridge. That bridge is for cars. See, I thought it was the concrete one where we started off originally, but that is somewhere else. Oh wait, no, this is San Bernardino. Okay. Barstow Yard is where we're going. Barstow Yard should be here. It doesn't say it. Now it does. Okay, yeah. The speed limit went up. And there's the Metrolink station. I did not get an opportunity to visit this area, or this part of LA 2 years ago, when I was at my brother's place. However, I have heard a couple of things about San Bernardino. I heard they had a wildfire right as I was getting ready to go to LAX and take my plane back to Liberty, Newark Liberty Airport. Now, I gotta say, I haven't flown since 2024, but... Oh, hang on. When I was moving into my apartment, I had a moving truck, and I honked the horn for some... I had to hop on my phone again. You honk the horn for some kids, they... Oh, okay, yeah. Like, even if you're not a kid, there's a lot of adults out there that really like the sound of a truck horn, a train horn, you name it. Train horns especially. I remember some guy on YouTube, another YouTuber I should say, he ended up putting I believe it was a K5LA onto a Cadillac, and he recorded himself blaring that horn on his caddy as he drove past the camera a couple times. I loved it. Like I said though, this horn, either part of it's broken or it's supposed to sound like that. I say it's broken because, you know, usually when you hear a BNSF engine, it sounds a lot better than this. I don't know if that's a K3LA or something else, but I know it's definitely not a K5LA. I've heard a lot of those. Amtrak especially loves using the K5LAs. And I'll tell you what, that horn is a lot better than a lot of the trains we get on New Jersey Transit. Why is there a helicopter? Is that for the wildfire? They did the horn honk, or they did the honk horn gesture like, oh, right, yeah. I did that several times. Now, obviously, I never drove a truck, but I did the gesture where you make a fist and you move it up and down because you're trying to look like you're pulling the chain to blow the horn. This helicopter, though, I got astonished by it. I want to say it's going to the wildfire the dispatcher told us about, but I could be wrong. Could also be doing a routine inspection for one of the police departments. When I said I was watching Metrolink 2 years ago by Mission Tower, I actually did see a couple of helicopters taking off from the skyscraper. And as they were flying, I saw the stars, and upon closer inspection, I saw that those helicopters belonged to a sheriff's department. I think it was LA County, I don't remember. Cactu. I like the creativity that Dovetail puts in some of the fictional companies. Like that drink we just saw there, Cactu. But there are also a few times, let me see if any of these cars have it, because there's been a few moments where I've seen, oh, a news chopper, yeah, good idea, Michael. Here it is. So this is supposed to be based off of a TTX car or rail box because of the yellow. Yet, instead of having a logo, they just keep it plain and DTGX. I wonder what that stands for. It certainly couldn't be for Dovetail Games. That's the only complaint I have when Dovetail puts fictional companies in there. But one thing I really did like, even though no effort went into this, was on the Donner Pass route, which is again on the PC version of this game, Train Simulator Classic. On the Donner Pass route, when you get to Reno, Nevada, they actually have a Harrah's by the Amtrak station, but Dovetail Games did not have the licensing to put the Harrah's name on the skyscraper, so instead, they called it Har-Hars. I like that, though, because it sounds like someone's laughing. It's like, you won't be able to get us in trouble for copyright. Har-har! Golf course drawer, right? As I enjoy more popcorn. I am so glad. Sorry. I am so glad I got a desk in my room, because I have more space to put snacks and drinks when I'm playing my games. Or if I'm watching a video on my PS5, I can just hop onto YouTube, watch a video. Sometimes I'll also have a bowl of pasta or a plate of some other dinner I made and just eat that while I'm enjoying the video. I actually had pasta last night, but I wasn't down here watching anything. I mean, I was still on YouTube. I was watching a Pendrix video, but I did that upstairs in my living room because I also wanted to be with my dogs. Now, both dogs have been down in my basement before, but lately, Spartacus seems to try and avoid it. That's the name of one of my dogs. He's a white and brown dog. I like that he traveled through the... Oh, yeah, that is pretty fun, too. I like that. I mean, this is Los Angeles, so you got to put some of the houses somewhere. And like I said earlier, I know near the train tracks is not ideal if you want peace and quiet. But, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Oh my, I was gonna say something else, but did you guys notice the cars are floating? That truck and that bus and that truck, everyone is floating. What is the meaning of this? Did it, Michael? I didn't see that. I was just astonished by the fact that it was floating and not actually touching the concrete. Oh, I'm sorry, not concrete, asphalt. Some roads, however, are made out of concrete. I've noticed that in Pennsylvania. Part of 95 does that, along with a few other highways. I'll take another screenshot. I don't even think this counts as a screenshot, because if I wanted to, I could just hit the share button on my controller. But still, I think this is pretty cool. It's like the train version of Gran Turismo, you know? And it's funny I say that because earlier I mentioned that I wanted to do music videos, and one of them actually was the Gran Turismo 7 theme song, but with trains. Because I don't know if you guys are into racing games or not, but if you ever played Gran Turismo, watch the intro for that. It's pretty cool how you see the progression of automobiles going from 1900 to today. Well, technically 2022, since also a pickup truck turned on the highway, or turned around on the highway, like it flipped around, clear the glitch. Not necessarily, Michael, because you're parallel to the road from time to time, and they only have the car set up to go a certain way. So like when it gets to the end of the road, they'll just turn around or disappear like that truck did, and they'll just turn around so that they can keep going down the road. If it was a glitch, it would probably go airborne, travel over 100 miles an hour, and crash into our train, damage our engine, like put a giant dent here. But I get what you're saying. I saw what you were referring to. That they're just programmed to do that, though. It's not a glitch. They just do that so that they can keep going back and forth on the road, because sometimes when you load too much stuff, it tends the game to lag. Like I learned that the hard way when playing Gary's mod. I spawned a lot of cars because I was trying to make a realistic city scene. But again, I had too many cars and I wasn't able to move my character around the way I wanted to. And then eventually I tried driving one of the cars and the frame rate just was not good. I couldn't see what I was doing and I damaged my car unintentionally. The same thing happened to me with BeamNG Drive, but That game requires you to download a lot of stuff to begin with, and I just didn't have enough space on my laptop. I have to upgrade my laptop, or not upgrade, but replace it, which will eventually be an upgrade, because I've seen a few Lenovo models that have like a terabyte or two of storage, which is perfect for gaming, because, you know, games take a lot of space. Especially if you have a lot of downloadable content like this one, or Wonders of Sodor. I keep mentioning Wonders of Sodor because it's by the same developers that made this game. Basically, the only difference is that the trains have faces, because, you know, it's Thomas the Tank Engine. So it's like Flintstones repeating. Yeah, you get the idea now, Michael. You got it. Or any Hanna-Barbera cartoon, for that matter. I don't think all of them did that same trend as the Flintstones, but there's a few others. I remember, like Wacky Races. I think also Wally Gator and Top Cat. But of all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons I've witnessed, Johnny Quest, at least for the 1960s anyway, Johnny Quest seemed to have put in a lot of effort compared to all the other Hanna-Barbera cartoons, especially with the way the characters looked. I mean, watching the pilot and some of the other episodes from 1964, I just loved the overall appearance of the characters. It was like you were reading a comic. An update on that wildfire. The fire department are on site, but the fire is not under control. There is a slight haze, but track visibility is still good. Right, I forgot about the fire. That's why we got all these clouds. I thought it was going to rain, to be honest. I thought this was fog, but nope, this is from the wildfire. I'll never forget, 3 years ago, I don't exactly remember what part of summer it was, but I saw smoke from a wildfire, despite the fact that it was like hundreds of miles north of where I live. It was in Canada. Yeah, you're right, Michael. Shining Time Station. I'll read the rest of your comment, but I want to get back to my story about the wildfire I experienced. Now, I didn't actually see any flames, because remember, this was in Canada, but there was still a lot of smoke, and it made the sky more orange than it should have been. In fact, the sun looked red to me. That's how bad it was. Yeah, Shining Time Station is where Thomas started for us Americans anyway. Where it really started was 1945 with the Railway series. Now, it didn't always focus on Thomas, so that's why the books were known as the Railway series. In fact, I remember he appeared in one story, but there was a gap from 1963 to 1972 where Thomas did not appear in any stories. Try seeing Mattel do that. Like if they have Thomas the Tank Engine and he goes, "Oh yeah, you saw that too, Michael?" Well, I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, you and I both live in New Jersey. But I want to get back to Mattel and how they couldn't be as good as the Railway series. Oh, here we go, another update. Another update on that wildfire. The fire is still growing with the mountainside now covered in smoke. The tracks are clear, but visibility around Cajon will be lower than usual. Keep your windows closed and remain cautious out there. Well, in that case, I better get the camera back in the cab. Trip optimizer equipped. I think I've heard of that. General Electric has these things where they can actually control the locomotive from a far location just to help the engine like not overheat or prevent it from using too much fuel. Anyways, now that I'm done reading that message we had earlier, Mattel, the current copyright owners of Thomas, I know they're doing a reboot soon. I'm curious though if they can have Thomas in a long gap like Reverend Audrey did. It doesn't necessarily have to be 9 years. Like you could have like, let's see, there were 4 stories per year. And I did say that Thomas was in one of the stories. So I guess it wasn't exactly a 9-year gap, but 4, 5, either 9 episodes or 16. Or even better, if there was a whole season without Thomas, but at the same time, that would be kind of odd, because, you know, the show is called Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. If you were to have a whole season of Thomas the Tank Engine without Thomas, then that would be kind of not good. But, you know, at the same time, I get why fans have been complaining about that over the years, because, you know, you have a lot of different characters, and yet you still have Thomas, like, taking up 90% of the screen time. Yes, Michael, the trip optimizer is like a remote control. I don't know how often it's used, but it is very, very helpful. Because, as I said, you want to make sure the engine is running in the best condition possible, and the trip optimizer can help you prevent the engine from overheating, or if you have a fuel leak, you can stop the prime mover. No engines on the rear this time. We just have this Fred. Oh, I like the lettering on this. I like the way the BNSF looks. These red boxes, though, are referred to as Freds, but the real name is actually the rear end of train device, which does sound a little goofy, but it is very important nonetheless. Wow. And there's the smoke. It looks like we're going away for... Oh, wait, no, we're turning right. I haven't heard of any wildfires in California lately, though. I'm hoping that they got things under control. I was really praying for my brother to be safe, though, because as I was saying 2 years ago, there was a wildfire in San Bernardino. I don't exactly remember what part of the city my brother lives in. Oh, look, 66. The 66. The same highway that travels from LA to Chicago. Past another freight train going downhill. And again, that engine also has no DPUs. There was a TV show I've been meaning to watch called Route 66. I mean, I did see the pilot, but that's about it. I should watch more episodes. You know, I want to try this again. I should probably have this. No, I want it off. Well, it's automatic, so I guess it's not going to make a difference anyway. There we go. Now, I know I'm speeding, but we do have a 2.2% gradient. The fact that we're at notch 8, if we don't start slowing down now, we're going to eventually. But back to Barry Crape, when she was driving the train on Cajon Pass, surprisingly, she didn't derail her train despite speeding. She went 83 in a section where she was supposed to go, like, I think 40 or 30. Because the curves were sharp. Yet, despite having a few of the wheels go off the rails at one point, she actually did not derail. Like, it was leaning off the tracks at one point, sure, but damn, she had a lot of skill to keep that thing on the tracks. You should have heard her dad, though, when she got this achievement. She went 22 miles under or following the speed limit, and her dad's like, "You got that achievement?" Now, I've been playing this game a couple of years longer than she has, so if I don't get that achievement now, I probably already got it earlier. I honestly don't remember. eat some more popcorn. The butter tastes really good on this, but I don't like how it feels on my skin. Only because it's dirty, and I just don't want to get my belongings dirty, you know? But no, you can't have the good without the bad, especially when it comes to food. And I also have like 30 small pretzels here with me. I hadn't had a single one of those yet. I've just been enjoying this popcorn so much. Hang on. Gotta read this line. The fire spread has slowed down, but we've been advised to stop sending further trains until the smoke is clear. Continue past Cajon until you're clear of the smoke. No problem. I can do that. Grade's been decreasing, so I can definitely get out of Notch 8. Oh wait, no. It went back up again. Damn it. Oh well. Next time I do this though, if I ever decide to have a bag of popcorn with me, I am definitely having 2 drinks with me, or at least a bigger can of something. Because my Tropical 7-Up was only 12 fluid ounces. But I have a water bottle that's able to carry more, so I'll probably just drink water instead. Well, we've got 39 minutes to go until the stream comes to an end. Or at least until I complete this objective, whatever comes first. I did schedule this stream to end at 2 o'clock, but if we finish before then that's that. However, as I said earlier, I will be streaming again at Monday. Same time, 11 to 2 for Eastern Standard, 10 to 1 for Central. Mountain Zone, if you live in Colorado or anywhere in the Mountain Zone, you will be able to see me live again from 9 o'clock in the morning to noon. And Pacific, 8 to 11. Which I find amusing, because the Pacific time zone is 3 hours behind the Eastern time zone. You're basically going to see the end of the stream at the same time where I started. So like when Pacific gets to 11 o'clock, that's the same time where I started. But you know what? That's time zones for you. A 3% gradient. Now I'm really glad I put the throttle back to full. I think Barry was going the opposite direction when she had her train going 80 or over 80, because I remember she was going down a 3% gradient, which I'm currently going up. That bridge in her video definitely looked familiar. I think I just passed it. This bridge also looks familiar too. But I remember she went under a highway bridge just like the one I just passed. We're going the opposite direction though. She started on the other section of the line at Barstow and ended her journey in San Bernardino. We, on the other hand, are required to go from San Bernardino to Barstow. Just burped again. Apologize for that. Like I said, you can't have the good without the bad, you know? I mean, it's just a burp, though. It could be worse. I mean, if I was throwing up and I ended up getting some of my vomit onto the PS5 and it short-circuited, I'd be in big trouble. I'm trying to get into some support programs in the country, in the county I'm in. Michael, I thought you lived in Herndon County like I do. Because you said you're in Flemington, right? Anyways, I was at the Expo for Disabilities and got some info for some things. Hope to find a way to make a living with my creek. Yeah, you know, I really hope you succeed in that, Michael. But like I said, while you're waiting, if you ever wanted to work with me at Wawa, I could put in a good word for you. get enough hours, you can make it like $500 a week. That would definitely be a good way to help you get revenue to help you with your artistic stuff, you know? And of course, if you work holidays, you get time and a half, so that gives you extra money. Like, let's say you work at the starting wage, which is $16.50. If you were to work the 4th of July or Labor Day, you would be able to make an extra $8. So instead of $16.50, you'd be making about roughly $24, maybe $25. But Christmas is the only holiday where you do not get paid time and a half. The reason for that is because you get double. So instead of $16.50, you'd be paid $33 an hour. So you wouldn't even have to work a whole shift. If you just wanted to do 4 hours, $33 an hour, dude, you'd have a damn good Christmas. You'd have a lot of money to help you, not just with your art projects, but also a few other things. You just reminded me, though, I need to buy a few things because I want to do another stop motion video. You might have been here when I mentioned this. I don't remember, but when I was newer on YouTube in 2016, I started a series called The Bad Quality Adventures of Thomas and Friends, and that was made to be bad on purpose. I would basically record myself just moving the trains around and have them do goofy stuff. I gotta read this. You should be getting clear of the smoke now. Stop at Summit until we can clear the backed up traffic at Hesperia. I think that's what it's pronounced. Hesperia or Hesperia? Summit I definitely know how to pronounce. We also have a Summit in New Jersey, which, funny enough, also has a railroad line and a train station operated by New Jersey Transit. The Summit station serves both the Gladstone branch, and if I'm not mistaken, it also serves the Morristown Essex line. Sorry, somebody just texted me and sent me some pictures from a fashion show. They wanted me to join, but I said, hey, man, it was Thursday night, so I said, hey, I want to make sure I wake up in time for this stream. I mean, I know I started at 11 a.m., but I just wanted to make sure that I could wake up in time for this, you know? I just don't know what I would do. Hang on, Michael, a message taking a while to load. I never did a register of making sandwiches. Well, Michael, you wouldn't have to do either of those. I mean, I don't like making sandwiches either. All you do when you're pumping gas at Wawa is just pumping gas. That's literally it. You just stand outside, help out the cars, and there will be a few other things you would have to do. Like, you would have to clean the parking lot, empty some garbage cans, and stock drinks in this section called the cooler. There's actually a few guys with disabilities that come to help us out from time to time. Now, obviously, they don't pump the gas for us, or they don't pump the gas with us. The disabled people from their special group, they simply just empty the garbage cans and stock the cooler. They might also be able to sweep the parking lot, but I haven't seen them do that, so I'm going to assume they don't help us with that. Now, I know I said that I didn't want to go back to pumping gas, but compared to how the Flemington store was in 2020, it's improved. You know, it's been a lot better. At the same time, though, like, I understand if you still want to prefer, like, not getting a job and you still want to try and do something else. What I said was only a suggestion, you know. I mean, if you wanted to make a little extra money to help finance your art projects and a few other things, that's all it was. You know, I just wanted to try and help you out with that. And earlier you did say you wanted to try Walmart. I understand if you prefer that, so if you want to go for that, more power to you. I'll tell you what, though. This is going to sound a bit ironic considering your name, but I wish I could go back to another store, Michael's. I considered that to be the best job when I worked there in 2025. The only reason I left, though, is because they were not giving me enough hours. Now, there is a Michael's by the Wawa I work at, but the one I went to was several miles north in Warren County in a town called Phillipsburg. Everybody I worked with was friendly. All the customers were wonderful to talk to. But, like I said, I had to leave because they weren't giving me enough hours. Are the fumes bad? I get worried that I'll get sick as my sense of smell. The fumes aren't that bad, Michael. I think you would be okay, but again, I understand if it's something you want to avoid. I get worried that I'll get sick as my sense of smell is strong. Oh, okay. Your sense of smell is stronger than mine. And I don't think the fumes would be that bad, but I'll let you be the judge. And this is going to sound weird, but I actually like the smell of gasoline. I want to work to make it easier to pay. But yeah, I got you, Michael. And I know you said you wanted to go to Walmart. Wawa does pay a little bit more, but if you still prefer Walmart, you know, I mean, like I said, more power to you. I completely respect your decision. I had a bad experience with Walmart, though. I mean, I tried working there in 2017, but it's improved compared to when I last went there. And I did try working at Walmart again last year. This was at the Phillipsburg store, but I decided to get out of there because I was trying to go see some family for Christmas, and the manager basically was just like, screw you. But you know, that was Phillipsburg. I don't think you're going to have that problem if you go to Flemington. You could also try Clinton. I've got a friend that works there who's also got a disability. I can talk to him, see what's going on there, and that way you would be able to get like a good reference or two. Now, I know you said you preferred Flemington because you live closer there. You could just walk back and forth from your apartment if your car doesn't work properly. But if they decide not to hire you, then I can try putting in a good word for you with my friend David at the Clinton Walmart. I think you'd like working with him. And who knows, maybe you'll find another opportunity that's not Walmart or Wawa. Maybe it'll pay more too. Anything's possible, man. You know, you always got to have an open mind when you're looking for jobs. Walmart's just out of convenience, not really a fan. Oh, okay, yeah, I got you. Like I said, I know you said you were considering going there because it's close to your house or close to your home. I mean, I like being a customer at Walmart. I like buying their products. I find it better than ShopRite or other convenience stores. I mean, there might be a few times I'll go to Stop and Shop, but generally I've always found Walmart to be better. But I wouldn't exactly want to work there. Same thing with Burger King or Domino's. But that's just me, you know. I don't like working in the food industry. I tried it with Burger King. You know, I did mine's supposed to be, yeah. I know, Michael, you did say that if it breaks down, you can't get to work, and you know, you'll get in trouble if you miss your shift. Like I said, my car is 10 years old, and I was just mentioning earlier how I need to get a new head gasket. But I had some sealant placed on there back in December. I should be fine for at least a couple more months, but I still want to try and get it replaced as quickly as possible. The reason I need that new head gasket is because this doesn't always happen, and it's not really anything serious, but when I go up hills, my oil temperature goes higher than usual. Like generally when I'm driving, my oil temperature is right under the halfway mark. But there's a few times when I'm driving up hills that the oil temperature rises above half, which it never does. Now, I've also been told that it could be a shortage of coolant, but my mechanic also did say that I would need a new head gasket. But for now, I'm good. I know the part's going to cost $3,000, but I'm getting close to there. I've got $2,000 right now. You could say that I could sell my car and get something better, but let's face it. If I left that part alone without fixing it, then I'd basically just get less money. I won't work for fast food places. Yeah, that's what I was saying too, Michael. I've already done enough of that, and I only did like 3 weeks of that too. Like, I only spent 3 weeks at Burger King back in 2017, and then I tried being a delivery driver for Domino's last February, 2 months ago. I probably could have stayed there a little longer, but again, with my car situation, I didn't want to risk it. Plus, as I said earlier, Wawa pays a bit more money. Not as much, but I'll still take it. Now, if they had me driving a company vehicle instead of my own personal car, I probably would have stayed there. But another reason why I left was because the manager was being an asshole. Well, two of the managers. There's only 2 managers I've worked with. And there were moments where they were nice to me, but when I was trying to do certain things, they overreacted and they just didn't make me feel like I wanted to be there, you know? It just wasn't worth my time. I've heard a few better things about Wendy's, but again, I've had enough of fast food. I'm not interested in going back. I'm a bit concerned though, because 4 years from now, my mom is moving down to Delaware. She wants to go down there to retire because taxes are less, but obviously you can't pump your own gas. I mean, you can't get a gas attendant job in Delaware. I almost by accident said that you can't pump your own gas, but you can. So if people are allowed to pump their own gas, what am I going to do? Oh, fuck, I'm going to derail. And I had the train at a very slow speed, too. God damn it. Well, that's not a good way to end this stream, but hey, I did say when this was over, I'd end the stream. I was hoping to go a little further, but I screwed up. I have to get my head out of my ass and do a better job paying attention to the gradients and the braking level. But like I said, when I come back on Monday, I'll be streaming the same time, 11 to 2 on Eastern Standard Time. I will give you guys more info on my Facebook page and my community post. If you go on my homepage on this website, like when you click on my YouTube page, go to posts or community. I'll keep you guys updated on my future live streams from there, along with my Twitch account. Like I said, if I get 5 followers on Twitch, I'll start streaming on there too. But I want to thank you guys for being here. I saw we got 4 views. That was actually twice the amount I was expecting. I thought I was going to be stuck to 2, but the fact that I got 4, that was better than I expected. So I hope you guys will join me again on Monday. Until then, take care. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you join me again as I play 2005 Star Wars Battlefront 2. Bye, guys, and thanks again for being here.